welcome to the Horror Hangout podcast where film fans watch the best and worst horror movies of all time and talk about them. My name is Ben Errington, and today I'm joined by a very, very special returning guest. Edward Harvey is a nostalgic video creator, graphic designer, and gamer. Welcome back to the show, Ed. Hello.
Hello, glad to be back.
Hello there. Looking lovely and semi-pink, little bit like Two-Face in the best way possible.
Yeah, the best kind of Two-Face, Tommy Lee Jones. Although he was awful in that movie, but his the appearance of Tommy of Two-Face in that film,
Yeah.
excellent.
It was like the most extreme juxtaposition between his personality types, wasn't it? I liked it.
Yeah.
Did you
Although
ever
the
hear the
best
story?
thing about it was he was trying to compete with the huge character of Jim
I
Carrey,
was
and he just
literally
couldn't.
just about to say, wasn't there something where like they were out for dinner with each other and they like insulted each other or something like that?
Yeah, he said something like, "I cannot sanction your buffoonery."
Yeah, I feel like if someone said that to me, I'd take it as a win. I
Yeah,
cannot sanction your buffoonery. I'd go, well, thank you. Not many people can. He went
such a
to be
weird words though, just to say that as an insult, Tommy Lee Jones. It's awesome.
Yeah. And to be fair, like Jim Carrey, probably at the height of his powers, to try and go toe to toe with him, and they pretty much just made both of them the Joker, didn't they? In that film.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
pretty much all they did. But it was all right at the time. It was fine. But yeah, how have you been since we last caught up? Have you been creating lovely? You've been creating loads of content all over the place on all the platforms, of course.
Yeah, I've got into Letterbox a lot recently. So I've been doing video reviews of my Letterbox reviews. I've just converted the written review into a video review, and it seems that people seem to be really liking that. It's like not many people are doing it, so it's one of those little unique things.
Yeah. No, it's
And
good because
they tend to be just like the exact amount of time for a social media video when you
yeah.
read them out. So perfect,
Yeah.
really.
Well, I think Letterbox has got a lot of fans out there, and it's got quite a good presence on various forms of social media. So yeah, it's a good
Yeah.
idea. You've done some ones recently, and not necessarily horror, but you did Breakdown, didn't you? That Kurt Russell
Yeah, but
movie.
I give that 5 stars. I know it's a film that people wouldn't normally think, "God, how is this a perfect film?" But couldn't fault it though. So I just thought it's a really, really solid thriller. It's very underrated, I thought. Like
You,
it's
I don't know if I've
edge you
seen that.
see stuff. You not seen it?
I don't think so. Now I'm looking at it. I don't think I've seen it. 1997. No, it
Yeah,
looks right up my
it's
alley though.
just from that period where thrillers like a solid gold 90s thriller. It's like
Yeah.
really you can't really pick it apart. There's nothing wrong with it at all. It's just once it gets its teeth into you, you just be like gripped until the end. It's very lean as well. It's only like 90 minutes, so it's kind of I love watching a 90 minute. You don't get a lot of those nowadays,
No,
do
you
you?
don't. Even something that's like 100 minutes, which is only 10 minutes more, but even that I still go, oh, I ain't so sure about that. Not play 10 minutes. Yeah, I've not
Yeah.
seen it. Oh, you did the Crow remake as well, didn't you?
Yeah, I thought I'd better because I've been doing a lot. I've been doing like oh, this movie's brilliant on every review. So I wanted to throw in some that I hated as well. I'd do some 1 star things just to show different sides of like my reviewing. I don't want to do some like because I was when I did that one, I almost like did it like hand on my like head on my hand and kind of like, oh, I can't. Do I even have to talk about this kind of thing?
I can't even begin to describe my. I feel like I didn't hate that film. I just didn't. I was just so indifferent to everything. It was just very. It was just bland, wasn't it? I guess.
Yeah.
And people do kind of forget that there have been a lot of Crow films and a lot of Crow sequels. Well, not a lot, but there have been others. Like people seem to forget. They're like, "Don't touch this bloody classic," and I'm like,
Yeah.
"Yes, I agree." But there have also been some sequels that exist. It's
I
not
know. I
like it's
guess it was
just
because it was a remake, but it's like they're
yeah,
trying to retread the original film. That's what they
yeah.
were angry about. And the sequels is something different, isn't it? But
I think it was very style over substance, and one of those films where you're like, "This is a music video. This isn't really a film." Um, But yeah, and the mythology, I felt like the mythology of the crow is so interesting, and I felt like it
hmm.
felt like it was a bit one note. I mean, what's his name? Old Bill Skarsgård, absolutely ripped in it to a ridiculous degree where you're like, how's he done that then?
Showing off.
Just bloody showing off, mate. It is like, how has he done that? Because he looks 3 times the width that he was when he was like
Yeah.
in any other movie. I feel like he did
Yeah.
it. He did it for The Crow, and then he went right. Someone else hire me for an action film now. Then he made that Boy Kills World as well, didn't he? I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, I quite like that. It
Yeah,
was all right.
I remember thinking it was all right. Yeah, but he's obviously gone. Look at me now. Look at me now. And then he was Nosferatu. I do wonder what order he did those films in actually, because I feel like Nosferatu was in production for ages.
Mm.
Whether
Yeah, I'm
he,
not sure. I mean, but a lot of that was just like makeup, though, wasn't it? With that,
oh yeah.
you forget that it's him.
You
Like,
forget this, especially those tiny little legs. So you can't do that in the gym. You can't do anti legs in the gym. What we did, just let your legs just wither away. Bless him. Did you
yeah.
you you like Nosferatu, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. I feel like I've just recently picked it up on Blu-ray, so I'm going to rewatch it again because I don't know. Maybe I was like tired at the time or something. I liked it, but I didn't love it like everyone was loving it. I was like, yeah, I
Yeah.
quite like this, but I liked it enough to buy it, so I'm going to revisit it and see how
Hmm.
I go with it because it's got the extended cut on there, so I'll see what that's
Oh,
like.
okay,
See if there's
nice.
any difference. I don't know what's they've added for the extended one, but.
Yeah, I think I'm with you. Like, I didn't out and out love it. It wasn't like that is the best film I've seen all year, even though it was out on like January the 1st. But
Mm,
I liked it for what it was. I think it did well at sort of capturing that Eggers style of that particular story. And then of course
yeah.
everybody going, hang on a minute, it's bloody ripped off Dracula, and you're going, come on now, we all know this, we know the story of it. Come on, it's copying. That's not fair. Um, but yeah, that was pretty good. We'll get to some other things that we've both seen recently that we can discuss.
Yeah.
Maybe some films we've had similar takes on in terms of like new releases and that. Um,
Mm.
but yeah, but today we're talking about critters, those bloody little balls of fun, little space porcupines, would you say? Um,
I guess though.
yeah, little space porcupines. I did try and watch. I was going to watch like a few of them, but I did manage to get the sequel watched as well. Have you seen that before?
No, I've only seen the first Critters, but I've seen a lot of like this era, 80s and 90s. You got like
Kind
Gremlins, Critters, Ghoulies.
Ghoulies. Yeah.
Uh, I think there's Troll 2.
Yeah.
There's like I think there's one called like Munchies or it's like when you're
Oh,
listing them off, you should play a game where
there's
when you're listing them off, which one of these
yeah,
is an 80s
munchies.
creature movie? Which one of these is a snack?
Yeah. Oh, that's a fantastic game. Why on earth have I not thought about that before this? It's called Munchies. And then there was another film called Munchie, like Munchies plural, and then just a little fella called Munchie.
Yeah.
This
And
is
I've
insane. What is the subgenre of this called? Little Alien, because obviously I joined you for a Mac and Me podcast
yeah,
years ago now, but still, what a time to be alive, right? Great times
it's
if you're a
still one of
fan.
the best episodes.
It was a great episode. I remember because I think I told you at the time, my mum I must have watched that loads as a kid, and I was like, you never guess what film I've been chatting about. Bloody Mac and Me. Product placement at its very best. What would we call this subgenre then? I guess of tiny, like
Just tiny creatures, isn't it? Tiny monsters. I
tiny
think
mon.
there was what was that? Did you see that film with Fred Savage and he had a little monster friend or something like that? That was another one. I want to say My Pet Monster, but I don't, that's that toy that you used to get. I think it's just called My
Monster in
Best
My
Friend's a
Pocket.
Monster or something like that.
Little
I don't know.
Monsters?
Little Monsters, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I do remember that. I recognize the cover of this. Was that a horror film though? Or was that just a kids film? Looks like a kids film. It looks like a kids
Yeah.
film because the cover is like Fred Savage back to back with the monster. Like like they're best buds. We know exactly
Yeah.
how it's gonna go. Meet the monster, be scared of the monster, make friends with the monster, then he'll try and get the monster to do normal things, come to his high school, etc., etc. I've definitely seen it, but not for bloody ages. Diminutive alien antagonists is kind of what I'm thinking because you do get some little alien or little creature monster movies, but they're not like anything to be worried about. Whereas ghoulies, critters, gremlins, munchies, munchies
Yeah,
are kind of like scary. What about the gate? Has got some little creatures in it as well. Have you seen the gate?
yeah,
Yeah, those
yeah. And
little.
there's one called Creepazoids, which I wanted to be great, but it's not. It hasn't got. It's not got what you think. I was thinking there'd be loads of little creatures in it, like because it's called Creepazoids, and it's just got a few good bits in it, and the rest of it's just kind of fill. You know, like really bad B
Yeah,
movies where they're padding and they're filling time with loads of boring bits.
yeah.
There's only a few interesting, like cool bits in it.
Oh Jesus, this does look pretty intense. It's like an evil baby or something. Is there something like that?
Yeah, that's the bit they always try to sell you because that bit looks amazing, but loads
Oh,
of the other
okay.
bits are very boring.
Yeah. I guess within the subgenre, there are also a couple more subgenres because you kind of got little kind of cute, funny creatures that would probably sell toys, but it's still a horror movie essentially. And then genuinely horrible, scary creatures that you're like you don't want to be near. Ghoulies
Yeah.
kind of counts as that, I guess. I'll tell you what, I'm 100% watching Munchies. Maybe not today, but definitely by the end of the week because this looks insane. Small creature movies of the 1980s, a complete list. Here we go. I should have done probably more research than I did. But that is a great game. I feel like I need to tell Andy about that and he needs to add it to the as a quiz
Oh
round.
yeah, I'll be all over that.
Yeah. So we got well, they've listed Basket Case in here, even though there's only one of him. Belial. Cat's Eye, obviously Troll. Troll, I always feel like the troll thing kind of looks a little bit like what's his name from Labyrinth? Looks like Hoggle.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they're brother and sister, right? Two little brothers, sorry. House 2, which I watched only a couple of weeks ago with
Yeah.
that catter puppy.
Yeah.
I mean, that doesn't really count. But then, oh yeah, there's these weird kind of like little alien heads in a film called It's Alive, Island of the Alive.
All right. Not seen
Hobgoblins is
that.
the one I'm thinking of, Ed. Hobgoblins, because I actually did watch that probably 2 or 3 months ago. Not good, not good at all. But elves, as in like the Christmas elves. You must have seen that.
I haven't, no.
Pretty,
I feel
pretty
like I
bad.
need to see more of these little creature movies. I've
Uh,
got. I was going to tell you actually, with in terms of critters, going back to critters. I'm sure I don't know whether it was just my memory of it, but the earliest trailer I remember seeing like almost like a VHS type trailer was at the end when it said the name, like it said critters, but it like went critters, blah 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 blah, blah, they bite like that. And I don't know if it actually like is just because as a kid I was describing it to someone and going critters, blah blah, blah they bite, or whether it's actually happens in the trailer. I didn't know I was just being silly, like
oh
describing it
man,
to someone and making the noise.
when when real life and something you've made up in your head crosses paths, that happened to me as a kid all the time. I've seen this film and then this happens in it, and then you watch the film and it doesn't happen. You're like, did I imagine that? Did I
So
embellish
I'm
that?
gonna try and hunt it down and see if there is a trailer that actually does that. It's like a
Critters.
blah, 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 they bite because it's like an impression of it's like the critter actually making a noise in
Yeah,
between, and that's how I remember the earliest trailer of it. But I
uh,
used to see the posters and the cover of this in the video shops when I was a kid, and
yeah,
the image I was like fascinated by critters, like I thought they were really cool, but also I was afraid of them as well. So it was a kind of
yeah.
a mix.
I feel like I've seen critters before, but I don't think I've seen critters since I was like a kid, essentially.
Yeah,
So it's not like a film that I like revisit all the time. And number two, with the Mick Garris directed one as well, where there's like a massive ball of critters.
mm.
I've also seen before, but the third one is the one. I think that's as far as I got. I don't think I got to the third one. There's a fourth one, isn't there? There is Critters, a new binge, which was a web series released on Shudder. Um,
Yeah.
and then Critters Attack, which came out in it came out in 2019, but I don't remember that at all. Like a reboot.
No.
It's got Dee
Which
Wallace in
one's
it
supposed
again.
to be the best in terms of the fan favorite? Is it just still the original, or is it the Leonardo DiCaprio one? I know people talk about that one, but
Yeah. I mean, I'm not 100% sure. I always feel like when people talk about Critters, the original and maybe the second one, the Mick Garris one, mainly because of that effect where they're all together in like a big ball. Like, that's
Yeah.
kind of thought of as iconic. Maybe the third one's discussed simply because it does have Leonardo DiCaprio in it.
Mm.
And I told you before we started recording this that in the first instance of him appearing in the film, he like goes to help a main character kid say, "Don't fall down that thing," and the little kid's sister comes up to him and goes, "What are you, some kind of pervert?" He's like 12 years old. I mean, no, you can be, but I'll tell you what, you can already see. I don't know. He was in stuff when he was young. He was in What's Eating Gilbert Grape, and what was the Basketball Diaries as well. He was in
Yeah.
that kind of
Yeah.
young. But even in Critters 3, you can just see that there's something about him where you're like, take this kid seriously. I mean, maybe,
Yeah.
sometimes with like teenagers, especially not just little kids, but teenager actors in these sort of B movies and stuff, you're a bit like, oh,
Mm.
come on now. But I feel like the lead in Critters is pretty good as well.
Yeah.
And he
Didn't
comes
they
back
go
for
more
Critters too.
they went like sort of like more family friendly and like I think they were like PG-13 kind of 12 kind of rated and so what they later on. I think the first one was it was a 15 and I remember
Yeah.
I wasn't allowed to see it like until
Yeah.
later. I mean, you'd find ways as a kid, wouldn't you, to see movies,
Oh, absolutely.
but
Yeah.
I remember that some of the later ones, especially the Leonardo DiCaprio one, that one it actually is just a PG-13, I think.
Okay. I mean, I can see what
Yeah,
I can get away with it. Like that, there's a bit of blood in obviously these films, and I guess they could easily like cut that out. And seeing the spines like fly out of the critters into someone's neck, like, isn't that bad? Is it really?
mm,
Or you could
no.
hit someone in the back or something. Ugh. Okay. So we'll obviously get into critters. Let's talk a little bit about a couple of things, bits of horror news before we get into what we've been watching as well. Happy Death Day 3 is finally moving forwards. So it's kind of a bit of a non-update this, but it's definitely moving forwards. Um, Happy Death Day director Christopher Landon is by the side of the film. It's moving forward. It's been 6 years since the release of Happy Death Day to You. You like both of those films? Am I right in saying that? Do
I
you?
haven't seen any of them.
Oh, have you not?
No,
There's me just
it's
like
one of those
reaching
where
back
I
and
probably
thinking,
would love it, but I haven't seen any of them. It's just one of those I've missed. It's
I
missed
think
me by.
they're okay. They're not like
Yeah,
they're not amazing. I feel like like this new wave of like new slasher movies where it's just like a different mask and it's related to like a different thing. Like there's a bit of a time
yeah,
loop situation happening in this one, which makes it kind of, I say unique, but I feel like after Happy Death Day, a few more films tried to do that a little bit with time travel and time loops. Um,
yeah.
yeah, it's perfectly fine. And the baby mask, little baby mask with a little tooth. When I went to Halloween Horror Nights at Universal Studios, they had a fella knocking about in this mask. Pretty
Oh,
terrifying. I think he was like 6'5" or something. Just little baby mask. They're perfectly fine. Again, they're not like my favorites of the genre by any stretch, but
yeah.
but they're pretty good. So a third one of that would be interesting. Did you see Freaky with Vince Vaughn and um
No, I haven't seen. I was one of the few people that when I saw the trailer for that, I did a reaction to the trailer. I was like, I hate this. I'm not going to watch this. But then I should have actually just listened to people who said they liked it and actually watched it because I put myself off with my own video.
I you recorded the video, you watched it back, and you went, "This guy's right. This guy's onto something. He knows what's happening here." I I might need to I'm pretty sure we did an episode on it. So it's back in 2020. I genuinely did like it. The reason I liked it so much is because when they do the body swap thing, there's tons of like Vince Vaughn acting like a teenage girl essentially, and not
Okay.
and not in like a weird, creepy way, but like in a genuinely funny way. And Catherine Newton being like embodied by Vince Vaughn's like big scary serial killer stuff is super cool as well. I probably need to watch it again, but I'm just looking at my letterbox review. Gave it 4 out of 5. But it's
Oh,
the
that's
same
good.
director. It's the same director as Happy Death Day and Happy Death Day to You.
Yeah.
He also made that film which I've not seen called We Have a Ghost with David Harbour as like a ghost. Don't know if you saw that.
No.
It's basically like Ghost Dad, but for
Okay.
modern audience. It's his Ghost
Okay.
Dad in it with he or should not be named
Yeah.
Mr. Cosby.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
I feel like that's up your street as well, Ghost Dad. Not because of Bill Cosby, but just because of the era of the era of the
Yeah.
film.
I remember seeing it a long time ago. It's often a movie that was on when it was okay to put his films on TV. It was on all the time.
Yeah, it was. It was. the tagline, America's favorite dad in a spirited comedy. Very good. Um, but yeah, happy Death Day to you. Looking forward to those. Why not? Why not? Let's check those out. There's a trailer for a Predator animated anthology. I don't know if you saw this at all, Ed.
No, I haven't seen that.
Only a
No,
couple of days
that's
ago.
good.
So got a bit confused by this because earlier on in the week we had like Predator Badlands, which has like been given a release date of November the 7th. I think it's got Elle Elle Fanning, or I think it's got Elle Fanning in it. And they were talking about the Dan Trachtenberg directed film and stuff, and then it said from Dan Trachtenberg, director of Prey, and then I was like, oh, hang on a minute, what's this? Killer of Killers? They've changed the title of the film. Then I started watching the trailer. It looks like a Predator animated anthology taking place throughout different periods of time, pitting the Predator up against a samurai in feudal Japan,
Hmm.
a World War II pilot, Vikings potentially as well.
Cool.
So
Sounds good. Yeah.
could be pretty cool.
Sounds
'Cause
interesting.
I feel like that was almost the way Prey was going, and any films that followed that. I thought, okay, if we just take the Predator, put it in a different location at a different timeline, like I'd 100% be up for that.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
you liked Prey, though, didn't you?
Oh yeah, I love Prey. I've really got a soft spot for Predator 2. I love Predator 2. I know
Oh
some
man,
people think it's like, oh no, the first one's better. I always rewatch 2 more than any of them. Like I love
I
it.
do like Predator 2. But do you know what I like about Predator 2? Do you know what I think is the best plot, the best part of the plot that makes it so good? The fact that there's a
What?
bloody heat wave, because everyone is absolutely sweltering at all times. I just love that side of it. It's so
The
good.
weird future costumes as well. Danny Glover's got those like glittery long, like high-waisted trousers on,
Yeah. Have you
like
ever
in
seen
glittery silver color.
have you ever seen the sort of outtake of Danny Glover like dancing with all the predators in that from that scene at the end?
No.
Oh man, it's so good. I watched The Predator on like a I think I was on a train or a coach. Like I watched it on my laptop once, and some woman was sat next to me because it was like a packed train, and she genuinely just watched the film with me. Like
All right.
just sat there watching. If you remember, there's a few like I don't know sexual scenes. If you remember, like when he turns up in the pimp and and all
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
But she was literally just like watching it like that, and I was thinking, I don't really mind. I mean, you could ask, but at the same time, I hope you're enjoying it as much as I am.
Yeah, it's great. It feels like it could be in the same universe as RoboCop 2. It's like
Yeah,
it's very similar to RoboCop 2, I
yeah.
think.
It's a
Don't
good
know why.
sequel. It's a good sequel, and it definitely deserves more love. Okay, another piece of news I've got is that Black Phone 2 is apparently taking a Freddy Krueger approach to franchise continuation. Because obviously, I guess spoilers for the Black Phone. You've seen the Black Phone, haven't you?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Spoilers for the Black Phone for anybody listening who's not seen the Black Phone, but the grabber, Ethan Hawke's grabber, gets killed. He dies. So how do you make a sequel to a horror movie where the villain is dead? Well, he's going to be doing it from beyond the grave. He's going to be grabbing from beyond the grave. I don't know whether that means, he's going to be getting into people's dreams or anything like that, but he's going to be able. I mean, it's a bit unfair in having an undead grabbing person, but but yeah,
Yeah,
there we go. But apparently the director said it's pretty much like Freddy Krueger now. It's Scott Derrickson, isn't it? Who directed it? Yes, it is.
yeah.
Pretty much like Freddy Krueger
Sounds
now.
interesting that though. Yeah, it's definitely. I mean, it's a really creepy villain in that. Ethan Hawke did a really good job of like making an iconic villain in one film. He like,
Yeah. The way he sat at the
I
top of
thought,
sat at the top of the stairs, heavy breathing or like asleep. That was
yeah, yeah.
pretty scary. I was kind of think when they said, "Oh, Black Phone 2," I was a bit like, "Well, is that needed?" But I don't know. I feel like when you hear more things like this, it makes you think, "Okay, I'll give it a go."
Hmm.
Yeah. Um, that's pretty much all I've got for news. I guess what we've been watching, we should discuss because there is a couple of things that I think we've both seen, including I saw you write your review, or brief review, brief words about Death of a Unicorn.
Yeah, I wanted to like it more, but at the same I felt like I was disappointed by it. But when I saw the trailer, I thought, yeah, this looks all right. And then I came out of the film and I went, yeah, that was all right. So I feel like I
Yeah.
wasn't really disappointed. It was what I was expecting. Like I expected it to be like a meh kind of film, and
Yeah.
it was a meh film. It was just like something that was a bit off about it. Like it when it was trying to do comedy, it couldn't go all the way there. When it's trying to do horror, it couldn't go all the way there. It's like it was just kind of
Mm.
missing the mark on so many occasions. I mean, it's not like a bad film. It's completely watchable and it's kind of, but there are times when it's like, well, yeah, this is going on, this bit's going on a bit too long. You've stretched that out and then you're repeating yourself other times and it's like it just yeah, it didn't quite
Yeah.
work for me. It didn't have that special sauce.
It didn't have the special sauce. I know what you mean. When I first saw this advertised, I didn't see a trailer, and for some reason, I didn't take it as literally as the title suggests. You know, when you just like an A24 film is called Death of a Unicorn. I don't know. I didn't think it was actual literal Death of a Unicorn. You know, when like a film's got a title like that, and you think it's just Glass
Yeah.
Onion, like a film like that, like Glass Onion, or like one of those
Yeah.
um one of those films that the Daniel Craig ones. I thought it was just like loads of rich people in a house and then some stuff happened. I don't know. So I saw a couple of screenshots and then I saw the poster where it was like literally a monster horse like roaring in someone's face and I went, "Oh right, it's a literal unicorn. What the hell?" I saw some people
Yeah.
describe it as that one sequence from Cabin in the Woods and someone's just gone, "Let's just make that into a film." With
Mm.
the unicorn. But obviously they've made the unicorn be a bit more fantastical, haven't they? It's not just like a horse with a horn.
Yeah, I mean, I wanted it to go a bit more 80s fantasy. I wanted it to, because a lot of the marketing was leaning into 80s. Like, there was one poster that looked like the same artist as like Labyrinth or
Yep,
something.
I
It
saw
looked
that.
really like an 80s fantasy movie. And I was thinking, great, this is going to be very much in that kind of ballpark, but it wasn't at all. And apparently they even were going to have John Carpenter doing the music, but they scrapped his score. He didn't like his score. They replaced it with someone else. How can
What
you do
on
that?
earth? No,
I know.
I've
I
lost
was
I've
like, how
lost all
dare
respect
you?
for it now. What, so there's John Carpenter music out there that I'm not allowed to hear simply because you've decided you don't like it for the film. What?
And the thing was, the music that they did have in the film was only just like, but you didn't even notice it.
Generic.
It was like, well, why would you replace it with something that's kind of not even special? I
Yeah.
don't know.
There are a couple of weird castings in this film as well, but I did appreciate them. Jessica Hines from Spaced, obviously in a as like
Yeah,
head of security, I guess, for Richard
I
E.
mean, she's
Grant's
really funny,
character.
but they didn't really use her well, did
They
they?
didn't use her at all. Again, it just
Yeah.
feels like they just hired whoever. I usually like Taya Leone when she's in stuff. I think, to be fair, she did all right, Taya Leone. I think she was
Mm.
perfectly fine. Will Poulter, again, perfectly fine. I like that Anthony Carrigan, the guy who was like Griff, the kind of, I don't want to say kind of butler slash guy, but I
Yeah,
did.
he's really good. I
He's in
saw him in
Superman, isn't he?
Gotham TV series.
Yes, he's in Superman as well, which I was kind of thinking. He's Metamorpho in. I think
Yeah.
he's in the trailer. Do you know what accent he was doing in this film, though?
No.
No, nor do I. At one point, I was like, "Oh, he's Scottish." Wait a minute. No, he's not. Then he's just like English, and by the end, I genuinely didn't know. So I just
Just
felt like
generic.
just generic. Just can you just do man's accent, please? Yes, I can. Just think like Paul Rudd and Jenna Ortega, two actors I really really enjoy the work of, and I just feel like they were kind of given they were fine, but like it didn't play into their strengths, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I didn't like Paul Rudd's character at all. He played it well, but he was just
Yeah.
a dick, wasn't he? Like,
Did you think when they said about Jenna Ortega's character being able to like tame the unicorns because she's like pure of heart? That's how they describe what's her name in Legend, right? As being pure of heart when she
yeah,
tames the unicorns. I was thinking
yeah,
that. So yeah, eight is fantasy. It could have easily leaned heavier into that, but unfortunately not. Um, so yeah, I think I was kind of the same as you. Just kind of thought it was okay, but yeah, I feel like there's so much potential there.
it had moments as well where this is an opportunity for comedy gold here, and I was thinking of this how the situation should end in my head. It
Yeah,
never was as good as I was thinking up. Like
yeah,
there's a moment where Will Poulter's got like the bow and arrow, and he's actually going to shoot and make a big explosion. I wanted it to be a big moment built up. and then he completely misfires.
Yeah.
Like, and
Because
it's like
because he
the
said he'd
arrow
had
just
one
falls
lesson.
off the bow or something, and the complete because he was rubbish with the bow. So you
Yeah.
could have had him do a complete misfire. It would have been hilarious, you know. But
Because there was a moment, and again, I know we're kind of spoiling this as well. You know, there was a moment where it looked like he was gonna deliver a mercy kill to somebody.
yeah,
I wanted him to fuck that up, be like, "Here's a mercy kill. I'm so sorry," and then miss, because
yeah,
and then a horrible, like, painful death for the person he was trying to mercy kill. Yeah, a
yeah.
few missed opportunities, a few like scenes that kind of like fizzled out. Yeah, a bit disappointing. Did Yeah, was there anything else that you've seen recently you wanted to mention? I saw one other thing I wanted to mention, which I think I just said to you, but you haven't seen it. The Rule of Jenny Penn.
No, I haven't seen that. What else did I watch? I liked the monkey. The monkey was really good.
Yeah, yeah,
I thought
Monkey
because
was
I
good.
wasn't expecting that to be as funny as it was.
Yeah,
It's actually pretty much more of a comedy than it is a horror.
yeah,
It's got some horrific gore moments, but they're like the comic relief of the film. They're like the actual biggest punchline moments when you see all the gore, and
yeah.
it's just right up my street in terms of the humor. I find it really, really funny, and yeah, I wasn't expecting to find it as funny as I did, and I thought Elijah Wood, his little cameo was hilarious as well. He's in one scene and he pretty much steals the film.
He's like he's written a book on how to be a dad, but he's not actually even a dad really. He's a stepdad. That counts. Um, talking, seeing if we mentioned Jim Carrey and Tommy Lee Jones like going over the top, they did go kind of Batman villain towards the end of the Monkey as well, didn't they? They had a guy, well, like the twin
Yeah,
brother, with his own lair and like traps, and he
yeah,
had a wacky haircut. So it was like I felt like, and
yeah.
it,
It was
what
great.
he was sat on a there was like a pile of TVs at one point. I'm like, this is like the Riddler shit. He's just gonna pop the thing on someone's forehead, and
Yeah, no, I thought it was brilliant, really good.
anything else recent watch or
Um, I watched. I didn't like Heart Eyes. I watched Heart Eyes around about Valentine's sort of time.
yeah.
Um, I thought with that, I just thought that I didn't like and find any of the humor funny.
Yeah.
And I didn't, I got sort of like bored by the end. I was like, this isn't really, this isn't for me. It's not
Yeah.
like, it's just not, it's not landing with my humor. And it didn't help as well that the entire audience in the cinema was like me. No one was finding anything funny. So the atmosphere in there was like, okay, no one's liking this. So it's kind of rubbing off on me quite a bit.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. There's 15 heads in there. That's why they're all just they all looked around like, oh, I Heart Eyes. I mean, I don't know. It's not stayed with me very long. I think I like the two main characters had a lot of charisma. I don't really like a film when when you go, oh, it's bloody ending, and then you go, hang on a minute, there's like 30 minutes left, so clearly it isn't ending, and and then they go,
Yeah.
well, we had you, and I go, well, not really. It feels a bit like that.
Again, it's just another film sort of outstaying its welcome a little bit, just going on a bit too long. And I didn't like the fact it was referencing like everything. Like,
Yeah.
and there's one scene where it was just listing in the scene that the character was just listing loads of romantic comedies in the dialogue. Like,
Yeah.
how many can I get into this sentence?
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
like
it was
meant to be a
literally
gag,
that.
and I was like, yeah, I know what you're doing here, but it's just not really landing
Yeah,
with me.
yeah, I know what you mean. Um, I also felt like the Heart Eyes mask should have been on at all times. I know they did like
Yeah, like the glowing eyes. Yeah.
yeah, I know that they did like the the seeing in the dark thing. What word am I thinking of? The, I know he could
Night vision.
night vision. It's as simple as
Yeah.
that, Ed. Sometimes, so I know he's trying to do the night vision thing, but I just felt like it would have been more impactful if it was on at all times. You know, if the eyes just appeared in the background or just somewhere else. You know what I mean? That would have made a lot more
Yeah.
sense. But yeah,
Like if
didn't.
you just saw the heart eyes emerge from the darkness, a bit
Yeah,
like Michael
exactly,
Myers' white mask appears from the darkness kind of thing.
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
that would have been great. Um, anything else? I mean, it doesn't have to be a new release. If there's anything you've seen recently, even for the first time, or I think is it. Should we just keep an eye out for your TikTok? I'll put the TikTok in the show notes, and then you can see everything you've seen with
Well, I've
a
seen
with
loads of
various
non-horror stuff
videos.
lately. Like last night, I went to see Jason Statham film, A Working Man,
Oh
and
yeah,
it
I've
was
seen that
so
advertised.
bad.
Yeah, that was bad. Oh no.
I wanted it to be
What?
like The Beekeeper because that's another one that he did lately,
Yeah.
and that was by the same director, and that was quite good because that was kind of like funny. But this one took itself way too seriously. So
Oh no.
no, I
A shame.
wasn't really a fan of it.
I'll briefly talk about the role of Jenny Penn then, because I didn't know all that much about this. It just dropped on Shudder a couple of weeks ago. Got Jeffrey Rush and John Lithgow leading it. Um, this is real good. Really great film. It kind of had that sort of classic feel. It kind of reminded me of a Stephen King story in a way, where I was like, the characters are so good, and
Mm.
the genuine. You know, how he takes like a character who perhaps shouldn't be as menacing as they are. S- Annie Wilkes in Misery, for example, or any of the bullies, I guess, from things like It and other things.
Yeah,
Characters that like clearly are menacing to the characters that they're kind of affecting, but really, when you think about it, like well, they shouldn't be. John Lithgow is like an old fella in a old people's home, a sinister old fella, who's got a little dolly on his hand called Jenny Penn, and it's got no eyes, and it's just all a bit creepy. And he uses this
mm.
doll to terrorize residents of the care home, including Jeffrey Rush, who like used to be like a big time judge, and now he's had a stroke, and like so his body and his mind's failing. The editing is so good at like representing that sort of like fractured memories and you know your body failing you and various things and like feeling helpless. And John Lithgow is so sinister. I think he's got like blue contact lenses in because his eyes are
Yeah,
just like steely gaze. It's like terrifying. Um, it wasn't it was so close to being perfect. I felt there's a moment in the at the midway point which fits like it would have been a perfect ending. It just feels like,
right.
oh, that would have been so satisfying as that was the end. But then it just keeps going, and then you get like another. The final act is slightly different, and I kind of thought that midway point would have made the best ending, and I'm a bit disappointed it didn't go that way. But still, two like unbelievably good performances, and just yeah, you think like an old people's home. I guess weird setting for a horror slash thriller, but it really does work. Especially when the kind of people working at the old people's home as well are kind of not paying attention or not taking notice of certain things that are happening around them, which like probably is quite similar to reality in a way.
Yeah, that sounds really good. I have to check that out.
It is good, yeah, it is good.
Mm.
And yeah, and Jeffrey Rush as well. Even like I don't think I've seen Jeffrey Rush in anything probably since Pirates of the Caribbean, to be fair.
Yeah.
But you know, I did keep thinking I wanted him to go full Barbosa on John Lithgow's ass, just like I'm a little busy at the moment. I wanted him to do that, but no, unfortunately not. But yeah, I recommend it. It's worth checking out. Um, should we get onto the main event then? Shall we, Ed?
Yeah,
Let's bloody do it.
cool.
Let's bloody do it. So, Critters, which is a 1986. You know, sometimes you see the timeline of films like this and you go, did it really come out in 1986? That feels so early for like when it was, because you always feel like, you know, when you see a film and you go, oh, this is basically ripping off that, and then you go and look at something and it's like, oh, it was only like a year before. They must have fast tracked that.
Yeah,
Because Gremlins came out in 1984. I don't know if it's entirely fair to call it a rip off though, because I feel like the only real similarities are it's a little creature, right?
yeah,
What do you think?
absolutely. And I probably I remember it being sort of in the video shop. So like they came out a bit later then, didn't they? You didn't get like an
Yeah,
instant release. Like it could have been
exactly.
like a
Yeah.
year or so later that it came into to rent. So
Yeah.
yeah, so it was a little bit later on. I seem to a lot of my childhood memories in films and stuff like that seem to start in 1987, kind of like it's like that's when my mind became awake to like
Consciousness.
films and stuff like
Wait, how old were you in 1987?
um not very old, like only like five, so
I Because
yeah.
it's funny you should say that because I think I've been watching a lot of stuff on like little skits and stuff on TikTok recently where apparently you're supposed to hit consciousness at five, like one, two, three, and four. You're kind of just going about your business, doing whatever. But at five, consciousness locks in, memories start being created, all that stuff apparently.
Yeah,
So if you've
makes
got like
sense
a
then.
memory from earlier than five, you're special. You're extra special. Uh, because yeah, it's probably the same for me. Like I guess it would have been I'd have been five like 1991. So like I remember, although I can't remember seeing Italia 90 on the TV, like the World Cup. I remember seeing that on TV. So
Yeah. I had the Italian 90 sticker album because I was into football as a kid.
oh,
So
were
I
you?
had that the actual sticker album for
Yeah. Oh man. You remember the Italian 90 game as well? It's just little. It was just like a top-down one and just little heads.
Yeah. I
Classic.
loved like yeah, I had like remember Sabutio? I had
Oh
Sabutio.
yeah, man. Subbuteo is a serious game. It's a serious business for some people. Um, but yeah, so I think a lot of films from this era, so like 84, 84 to 86, I guess were a lot of films because I was born in 86, were films that like I had as a on video as a kid. I don't know if I had Critters, but like things like Ghostbusters, Gremlins, 1984, Labyrinth was 86, was it not? Um,
Yeah.
yeah. So it was like that era of things. I guess like by the time like 1990 rolled around, the videos were readily available, and the films were being shown on TV as well. I think that was the key thing why I was into all these films. But yeah, it's weird when you see films and you go, "That's only 2 years after." They must have real fast tracked something because the fact it kind of like takes the piss out of ET as well, which I guess like loads of films were doing at the time.
Mm.
Even Mac and Me is obviously a riff on ET. Well, not maybe not officially or on purpose. Always got it on purpose. Um, Okay, so Critters is a 1986 American science fiction comedy horror film directed by Stephen Herek. It's his directorial debut. Can you believe it? It stars Dee Wallace, Emmet Walsh, Billy Green Bush, and Scott Grimes in his film debut as well. Um, IMDb 6.1 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes 52% audience score, 45% critic score. Letterboxd 3.0 out of 5. Some choice reviews from Letterboxd. Ian West says, "Small town 50s sci-fi beamed into the 80s is one of my favorite things, and Critters is just that, complete with a proto slingshot wielding Bart Simpson, bounty hunters, all-star 80s mom Dee Wallace, and troublemaking critters doing what they do best. 4 stars." Matt says, "Look, I know it's cliche to compare this to Gremlins, but come on, it's pretty much just Gremlins. 3 stars." I don't agree. Kaiju Man says, "A vastly enjoyable B movie, graced with fast paced, fleshed out, and likable characters. The worst and best 80s hair metal song, Power of the Night." They were really leaning into having this song play as much as possible, right?
I think that the Johnny Steele pop star type person, I think he's meant to be the most famous musician in that universe. They
But
play his like video everywhere, don't they? Like,
it's ridiculous. They played a video, the song's like on the radio all the time. Dee Wallace is like, what's she doing, knitting or something at one point, and she looks up and she turns it over. Just goes, "Actually, you know what? Johnny Steele, piss off."
she
You
seems
think,
like she's swooning over him a little bit. She's like,
yeah,
"Oh yeah,
I
want a
better
bit of Steele."
I better turn it over just in case I get too into it. um, so Kaiju Man gives it 4 stars, and Hailey says there's a scene where one of the critters tries to fuck an ET plushie. Say it with me, cinema. 3.5 stars. Does it try and fuck it? I don't, does it?
I don't know. Yeah, maybe, I
One
guess.
of
But
one of the critters also says fuck. How's that happened? I guess I mean I guess the aliens speak English, don't they? Because even the aliens like previously in the at the start of the film who were like sending the bounty hunters down to Earth, they're speaking English, aren't they?
mm,
So
yeah.
that's fine. Um, yeah, obviously that you got the. How do you feel about the shape shifting bounty hunter as well? I feel like shapeshift too often. One
Yeah.
of them does. One of them's literally just like everyone I see. I'm gonna shapeshift into them in front of them because I love their reaction. Ooh.
He's just too indecisive. I feel like I'm like that with tattoos. I've never had a tattoo because I can't think of anything that I want that I want to have forever. So this guy's like, no, I want to stick with something, but I can't make up my mind. So
He just sees someone, he goes, "Oh, I'm well into this person. They got lovely eyebrows." In the second one, the same guy shapeshifts into a topless woman. That
yeah.
so Charlie from this film, he like joins the shapeshifters, and in the second film, he's like looking at a dirty mag. I can't remember why he's looking at the dirty mag. I think he just finds it just in the bush, as you did in the 80s. Uh, and he's looking at
In
it,
the
and he
woods.
and
Oh,
yeah,
that's come up is that come up in a previous episode? I'm
Oh
sure
yeah,
you've been.
definitely,
Yeah.
definitely. Undergrowth porn, just like in the magazines. What just a great time to be alive, wasn't it? Not only has someone gone in there with it, but they've left it behind. It's fascinating. It's fascinating. They're keeping
Doing a
it no
service.
secret. But yeah, he turns himself into a topless woman and then like covers up. But then like the first chance he gets, he turns into someone else. And then at one point, he there's like a cardboard cutout of Freddy Krueger in like a video shop, and he starts trying to turn into Freddy Krueger, and Charlie holds the magazine with the topless woman up again and says, "No, no, no, turn into this one." And then he turns
Yeah.
into. But there's a real great detail in the second film when he turns into the topless woman because it was like a magazine spread. He's got like a massive staple in his chest because obviously he's replicated it perfectly, including the
All
staple,
right, that's cool.
which is pretty cool. Yeah, I like that. Unfortunately, it's not in this film, but still.
I suppose they could have had him turn into Freddy because it's the same studio, isn't it? If it's new, I think it's New Line, isn't it? So they would have the license to Freddy. So
I
they
guess
could have
that's
had
why
him actually become Freddy
that
for
would
a
have been
scene or something like that.
that would have been insane, wouldn't it? I guess that's why they could include the cardboard cutout and not have to worry about anything. But that would have
Yeah.
been mad. But I think it's a nice little addition, isn't it? I just love everybody's reaction, or everybody in this film, everybody just thinking, "Oh, the priest has just shot up this shot up this bar." Well, no, he's here with me right now, actually, so it can't have been him. Um,
Yeah, I feel like the bounty hunters are actually the biggest sort of comedy. It's quite dry, but it's like I think that a lot of the things that they do is like the funniest
yeah,
bits. Like I always used to reference when as a kid when we're like saying like lines in school and stuff like that. Often it was to do with the bounty hunters or like when they in the bowling alley and they just throw the bowling ball like in a like go whoa like
yeah, yeah.
we always used to pick in school we'd pick up stuff and throw it like that like
Oh man. Yeah, it is. I do like this. So the small town, which is called God, what's it called? But basically, it was built, wasn't it, just for this film? I think that's right.
yeah
Well, obviously not like the whole town, but I think like the main like street and everything like that, um, was built for this film, which is pretty interesting.
yeah
Let me just,
quite cool
I was trying to work out what it's called. We'll come back to it. We'll come back to it in a second. But yeah, what do you make about all of the characters? Like, obviously, you've got the kid, you've got his mate. I guess his mate's supposed to be a little bit, because he's a grown man. I don't know. Is he supposed to be a bit simple? Is that mean to? Does that mean to say that?
yeah and what's the political correct term now but like yeah in the 80s they'd have like people like
Yeah. What is
kids would have be friends with people with learning difficulties. It'd be like a thing, wouldn't it? You'd always get that. Like, but I think
Yeah. What is the polit? I
but
guess
also he
learn.
was
I
supposed
guess
to be a drunk as well, though, wasn't he? I
yeah.
think.
He was a bloody drunk. He was always on the whiskey. He had a bottle of whiskey ready to go at all times. He was locked up in the drunk tank when we first introduced to him.
Yeah, why is he like an appropriate friend for this kid?
Yeah, because he literally goes from the drunk tank to hang out with this kid like later on and trying to shoot cans off of a with a slingshot. Yeah, it's pretty mad. But yeah, I guess the politically correct term is just someone potentially with learning difficulties. Although I don't know if this man, who Charlie, as you mentioned, played by Don Keith Opper, I don't know if he falls into that category. So we'll find out. But he's just a man who's, pl planet Earth isn't for him. So when he does leave with the with the bounty hunters at the end, I feel like it's a happy ending for him, isn't it? Um,
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean,
So
I do think he's one of the best characters. The kid, Brad.
yeah, and he does turn back up in the second one as well. But he's a bit older and he's got an earring. That's literally it.
Right.
That's literally it. I want to say it's called Groves Bend, the the place where, which I think might be a real place, but I think at least the high street I read that they completely built it. It's like a big set.
Yeah. Have
Yeah,
they used that for other films? It seems like familiar, like they would do that.
it
Like,
does. It does look like I'm sure they must have done. Surely, yeah. That would have made sense, wouldn't it? Grover's Bend, sorry, right? Grover's Bend, Kansas. I'm gonna try and find if this is actually a real place or not, because it looks like a nice place to live, doesn't it? Lovely rural place. Well, all the stuff that comes up is stuff from Critters and Critters 2, so I reckon
Yeah.
it's got to be. It's like a spin on like um it's a spin on somewhere in Oregon, I think. But yeah, it looks like they've got, I don't know if it's a real like basketball or baseball team, but there's like a logo for something called the Grover's Bend Krites.
Cool.
Krites, kill Krites. So
We want
yeah,
Kreitz.
yeah. I was confused by the bounty hunters though, because I did kind of think, are they supposed to be good guys or bad guys? Because sometimes they literally just obliterate places they go, or are they just
They're
trying to
just
kill the
neutral characters, aren't they? Because they're like
neutral?
mercenaries,
Yeah.
aren't they? So they basically, I suppose they could be an arsehole to some people and they could be a hero to others. So.
There's a really interesting, like, there's so much to explore with them as well. Because there's a bit like in the second film where, and again, I don't want to keep talking about the second film, but I just want to mention the bits that are relative to this film, where Johnny Steele is still Johnny Steele in the second film. So he's gone, I like this face, I'm keeping it. The other one is again constantly changing, but then they've got Charlie as like a third one. But something bad happens to the one who keeps changing. And
Mm.
Johnny Steele's character, the other one, is like proper devastated, like screams, like when he gets hurt. So I'm almost
All
like,
right.
are they like two little, are they lovers potentially? Because it'd be an interesting relationship to explore when you could change the way you look on a whim, wouldn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. That surprises me because they seem like emotionless, don't they, in the
Yeah,
first film? Like they
exactly.
wouldn't bother. Like if one of them died, they'd just be like, okay, move on, I'll find a
Yeah,
replacement
he
kind of
proper
thing.
screams. He goes like like that, and it was the first time any of them showed emotion. So I was like, what the hell's going on here?
Does he do like a movie no? Like look up like a camera above, like no.
there's there's something really terrifying about it. Like it caught me off guard. It wasn't like that.
Yeah.
It was like, oh God, he's really upset. Like I felt real bad. But yeah, I guess the bounty hunters, we don't know what gender they are. If they keep switching their faces and stuff, who knows? It could be an interesting way to live, couldn't it?
Feel like there's another whole movie spin-off series to
Yeah,
explore
exactly.
there.
Well, that's the thing because obviously, and again in the second one, there's a scene with them at the start, like killing a different alien. So like
Mm.
clearly they're sent all across the galaxy, getting like killing different types of aliens or subduing them or whatever. Yeah. Um. Okay. So in terms of the cast, so as you mentioned, Dee Wallace is the mum, Helen Brown. She was obviously the go-to mum character in the
Yeah.
80s, right? Emmet Walsh is Harv, who is the sheriff. He's the
Yep.
sheriff. He's obviously
Sheriff,
had
yeah.
absolutely tons of films from this era as well. Um, who else have we got? Scott Grimes is the main kid, Brad Brown. Um, and then the
Got
other
the
one,
dad, Jay Brown's Billy Green Bush, apparently.
Billy Green Bush, the
Yeah.
dad, the dad who gets like absolutely battered like every moment. Lynn Shay. Now this is interesting. Lynn Shay, obviously big sort of horror actor, and Billy Zane in a very minor role as well. But Lynn Shay, she doesn't get much to do in this one. She's kind of like just on the phone. She's basically like Janine for the Ghostbusters in this film, isn't she?
Yeah.
She gets a lot more to do in the second film. Basically what I'm
Oh,
saying,
good.
Ed, is go and watch the second film, all right?
I will
This
do.
Terrence Mann is Johnny Steele. And I think that's probably about it in terms of the main characters, seen as the other bounty hunter switches constantly all the time. Um, so it starts on an asteroid prison. A group of dangerous aliens known as the Krites. They're sent to be transported to another station, and they engineer an escape, hijack a ship, and then that is when the warden hires two shape-shifting bounty hunters. You'd be fuming, wouldn't you? Oh, well, those little furballs have managed to hijack a ship. How have they done
Yeah,
that then?
they don't look like they would be able to pilot a ship, do they? Like when they're on land, they look like they're just interested in eating and that's it, and they're not actually that intelligent. But apparently they've
They're
got a
supposed
pilot license.
they're supposed to be intelligent in terms of like that sort of stuff, but they eat pretty much whatever. They can't differentiate like the difference between an explosive and Do you know what I mean?
I
Like,
know the funniest moment is them eating the firecracker thing. I
yeah,
absolutely love that scene.
they can't. You know what I mean? If they're that smart, they'd know. Because at one point, I think they try and. Well, again, I might be getting confused with the second one, but there's definitely a moment where they can try and lure them with some meat, and they're interested in it until they see humans, and they go, "Oh, fresh meat." So
Mm.
they know the difference between those things, between meat and fresh meat. How do they not know the difference between things they can actually eat and yeah, firecrackers? Um,
It seems like to them everything's just when everything's like Moorish, like but it's not just one like for us it's like Doritos or something like that, or Pringles. For them, everything is like Moorish. Like, oh, just gotta have a bit of this, bit of that.
I do love a Dorito, you know. And do you know what? Do you know what I was told? I remembered the other day, like discussing Doritos, 3D Doritos. Remember them?
Oh yeah, the ones that were like puffed
Yeah.
out kind of thing.
Where have they
Yeah.
gone? What? There was nothing wrong with them. So where have they gone? You know what I mean? Bring them back for God's sake. I'm not the kind of person who's just like a nostalgia freak, and I'm just well, actually I probably am, but I'm just like the past was great. I'll tell you what, when 3D Doritos were around, I had no problems.
Yeah.
I had zero
What
life's problems.
I wonder what they put in Doritos to make them, because if you have like normally you get like the Aldi alternative like
Yeah,
is quite good, like an Aldi alternative to like a Mars bar or Snickers is
yeah.
like almost perfect. The replacement for a Dorito is rubbish. It's
No,
nothing.
not the
They
same.
haven't perfected whatever's in Doritos to make them
It's too
amazing.
like yeah, it's like they're like cardboard, aren't they? The replacements. But the
Yeah,
Doritos, yeah, sometimes there's a brand of certain things which is just they've just got it right. But I know what you mean. Like those little Aldi Snickers bars, Racer or whatever they're called.
yeah.
I'm happy with those. I'm not.
Bang on. They've got that bang on, haven't they?
I'm not a snob when it comes to those things. But yeah, Doritos on now. So the name of these two shape-shifting bounty hunters are Ugg and Lee. Ugg and Lee.
Do you ever
For
like
God's
hear their names
sake.
said in the film?
Yeah. Well, I
Do
don't know
you?
about Ugg. I don't know about Ugg. Lee is mentioned a lot, mainly because Lee is the one constantly changing face.
Right, yeah, okay.
They're constantly like, "Oh, Lee, Ugg and Lee." For God's sake, who's come up with that and run with that? That's not very fair either, because, well, I don't know. They could look however they want. Maybe the green faceless one is supposed to be ugly. Um,
Maybe
so
that's why I was so upset when one of them died. It's like you're part of the pun of the name. I can't go on now
there's
without
no one
part of
else.
this pun.
I literally have to wait until we hire someone else called Lee for this pun to continue to work. Ugg and Dave is not gonna Ugg and Dave is not gonna work at all. So they do that thing, and you know we get this in a lot of like sci-fi stuff where aliens come and try and study all of Earth. Like, how do you feel about when someone goes like an alien creature arrives on Earth and they go downloading all of Earth's history to mainframe, and they just
I love
go.
it. I love it, and I love the fact that the guy just picks the most famous person as well. Like, and yeah,
Yeah,
I'll stick with it.
it.
I'll blend in being the most famous person.
And no, to be fair, not many people really seem to react apart from the kid, right? Kid's the only one who really knows, and even he like becomes accepts it. He goes like, Charlie, my best mate, and Johnny Lee, Johnny Steele, Johnny Steele, sorry, teaming up against these Krites. Why not? I'm up for it. But
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
Lee
great.
at this point, Lee remains undecided, thus retaining his blank, featureless head. It is you with a tattoo. This is what it is. Come on in, Ed. Let's get down. Let's get ourselves down to earth. All you got to do is decide on a face. No, I don't know if I
I love
like
the
any
fact,
other faces
when
though.
they're not transformed and they've just got the green kind of blank
Yeah,
face. Reminds me so much of like generic cheap action figures from like that were
yeah,
like unbranded or whatever. Like when you get an alien figure, it's just got a blank green face.
yeah.
I love
Do you remember on the old wrestling games when you used to like make a character and it would like show you were trying to work out, you're trying to assign your moves to it, and it would be a green man
Yeah,
and a red man, wouldn't it?
yeah.
And some people used to just be like, "I'll just be the green man. That's my character." It looks a bit
I'll
like
just be
that.
chroma key man.
Chroma key man, exactly. You're basically invisible if you key him out. Just like John Cena. So on a rural Kansas farm, the Brown family, they sit down to have breakfast. So first of all, you got the boy, he's like in the bathroom. What's he doing in the bathroom? It's weird because he's supposed to be like 10 years old, and then his older sister looks like she's about 25.
Yeah. That was a common thing though, wasn't it, in
And
the 80s?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
definitely. And
isn't
they're
the kid he's trying to heat up the thermometer so he doesn't have to go
exactly
to
that's exactly what he's doing. Heating up the thermometer, so he hasn't got to go to school, but then his mum takes it off him and says, "Oh, 200 degrees or something." You
yeah.
idiot. You should be dead. But, now you're saying I feel a bit unwell. Um, so yeah, the daughter's name is April, and it's Jay as the dad and Helen as the mum. So they send him off to school, and it says while waiting on mechanic Charlie McFadden. Okay, so the man we've said has got learning difficulties. He's a functioning. He's a mechanic, but he is a drunk. He
Yeah.
is a drunk, and I think he was a former baseball pitcher because he says at one point to Lin Shaye's character, "Wasn't I good back in the day? I was shit hot, wasn't I?" But now he's the town drunk, and it says also the town crackpot with claims of alien abductions foretold by messages through his fillings. I'm getting it.
That's a unique spin on the whole tinfoil hat thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it is a bit like that. I watched the Tommy Knockers recently, um, the like miniseries, Stephen King miniseries, and there's a character in it who's got like a metal plate in his head, which like blocks alien like messages, which is quite
Yeah.
interesting. Um, I'm assuming he is a crackpot up until this point when everything comes true, right?
Yeah, I
'Cause I
guess so.
can't.
I feel like he should have been, like he should have been sort of t reminiscing all the time about his baseball days and things like that. Like,
Yeah,
yeah, the time when I did this and the time when I did that. But I don't think there's enough of a
he
mention
sh-
of it for it to be memorable.
he
I'd
should have
forgotten
had
about the whole baseball thing basically. So
he should have had a
yeah,
moment where he like had to throw something or catch something, and then he was thrown. I guess it's similar to Joaquin Phoenix in Signs when he has to swing away. We should have had, if we mentioned that, we should have had a moment where he like relives his former glory and like catches something like of importance, like
yeah.
somebody catch it, and he like dives through the air. That would have been good. But yeah, I kind
Oh,
of
by the way,
forgot.
going back to Brad trying to skive off school. Did you ever like do that? Did you ever like were you able to like fool your parents
No,
in a successful way?
I think it was always just the ill voice, wasn't it? That's all you had to do. Oh, I don't feel well. But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't think I ever like out and out faked it, but I think I would always like dial up. If I felt a little bit rough, I would always try and dial it up
Yeah.
because then you got to stay
My
out.
my
Go on.
parents would always know because when I had got away with it, I'd wouldn't be able to like help myself.
No,
I'd be like excited and like deliberately like I'd be no, no, I am sick now, but I'm like be dead happy that I've got the day off and it'd show, you know.
I feel a bit unwell, but I can't really rest or sleep. Can I put the Mega Drive on? Just no, you're supposed to be
It
unwell.
literally was like that.
Or like there was something good for tea, like a lovely, I don't know, something exciting for tea. Oh no, Ben, you've been unwell. You have to have this bowl of chicken soup, vegetable soup. You have to have gruel. And you're like, oh bloody hell.
It was even I even like when I remember sometimes like when I pretended to be sick. Oh, your granddad, your grandma and granddad look after you then because
Yeah.
we can't. And I go around there, and my granddad would just go and get a video out for me and stuff like that. I'd be like, I'd be
Oh yeah,
loving it.
grandparents didn't give a they didn't care, did they? But all the rules they enforced as parents were out the window with
Yeah.
that. I know what you mean. Yeah, my nan was the same. She'd make like my favorite food and like put the TV on and just be like, anything you need, just let me know. And she'd never go. You're
Also,
supposed
my
to be
granddad
unwell.
would get me any film out. Like I'd say, "Can you get me a Child's Play?" Like and he'd just go and get it. Like he
You
wouldn't
get me
care
child's
about
Yep, child's
he
play
wouldn't care
sounds that sounds
at all
lovely.
about the ratings on him.
That's good. So almost faking being sick was worth it because you'd get everything you ever wanted.
Yeah, it was
Yeah, but
brilliant.
I do remember like staying home and playing the PlayStation and or PlayStation or Mega probably Mega Drive at this point, and just
Yeah.
feeling like I'd just won at life. Just be like, oh, everyone else, all the other losers are at school right now, getting homework, all this stuff, and I'm playing Streets of Rage 2, and I'm flying through the air as Skate. and it's
Yeah.
just nothing better. Uh, but yeah, obviously it doesn't work for old Brad. Unfortunately, he gets sent off for school. Um, what later on in the day, we're introduced to uh Billy Zane's character. He turns up. Weird seeing Billy Zane with hair, isn't it? Well, I suppose he did have hair in like Titanic and stuff, but weird seeing him so young and in such a minor role as well, isn't it?
Did he ever have, other than the Phantom, did he
Yeah.
ever have a leading role like in many films? Because I always thought
Yeah,
that
good
he had
question.
star power to be like a leading
Oh yeah,
man, but
definitely.
I thought I always rated Billy Zane. I was always really good at it. But Phantom didn't do particularly well, and that was his big breakout, kind of like I'm the
Yeah.
hero in this movie. I do like the Phantom film
Yeah, I
actually.
think
I quite like it.
The Phantom's pretty good. I was trying to think of what other films he's in as like the so Phantom was 1996. Uh so I mean a few years after this. And it was to be fair, The Phantom and then Titanic was like a year later.
Yeah,
So yeah, after that, I don't know if there's I mean he's bound to have been the lead in something else, but not like a big one. I think it was kind of that one.
no,
He was in the Tales from the Crypt movie as well, wasn't he?
yeah. He often played baddies,
The
didn't he? A lot of the
Collector. Yeah, so he's the baddie in Tales from the Crypt. Um,
time.
yeah, he's good at the bad. Oh, he's in Tombstone as well, which I watched
Yeah.
all that long ago. Um, I can't. What kind of character is he in Tombstone? He's just like he's not a villain, is he? I don't think he's a villain. I think he's just a nice fella, just a support member of the supporting cast and a nice fella. Um, but yeah, he pops up in this as boyfriend. There's a moment where Charlie and Brad are like trying to shoot a can off of something, and they end up hitting the sister on the arse.
Yeah.
What? But he like covers for Charlie and says, "Oh yeah, it was me when it was Charlie." Why didn't they just say we were aiming for the can and we missed and it hit you? Sorry, it was an accident.
I
What?
know, and he has to like carry that lie through the
Yeah,
entire film, pretty much, doesn't
he
he?
does. They go, "Yeah, just like that time when you shot your sister with a thing," and he goes, "Oh yeah, I did, didn't I? Yeah." Just say it was an accident. Just say sorry, it was an accident. Because she proper chases after him like she's gonna kill him.
I think they've, I think they established early on though that he's always trying to pull a fast one, and I don't think he thinks they'll believe me if I told the truth. So
Yeah.
I think he just says what they want to
Yeah,
hear.
because he looks out the window at one point to see like Charlie getting in the car to go home, and he's like, "There goes me mate. I stuck up for you after all all this time." Um, so I think that night, so obviously because of that, Brad gets like, did you notice any of the posters on his wall as well? Were you looking in the background, seeing what he had on his wall?
Uh, no, I can't remember. Was there
The
some good ones?
the police was one of them.
All
Uh,
right, yeah,
so there was that on his wall. I think there was like some sports ones actually. I can only
yeah,
remember the police one now, but I guess that he has got a ET little little toy hanging around. So he is obviously just gonna go out for the night, isn't he? Um, his dad obviously essentially grounds him, but he's still gonna go out,
yeah.
and that is
Sneak
when
out.
he's trying to sneak out. While his dad's like in the bathroom as well, so he's trying to like sneak past the window. But this is when the Krite's stolen ship crash lands. When Charlie's going home as well on his bike, the ship flies over his head as well, doesn't it?
Mm,
Where he's like, bloody hell, bloody hell. Um, and they all go to basically like Brad goes to investigate, gets down the tree, but then he's like still in the tree when his dad comes out and goes, "What are you doing up there?"
yeah,
And he's like, "Oh, what that was it? That sound made me fly out my window and just land in the tree." Just like
yeah.
the worst
By this point
possible.
as well, the dad has got into his bowling gear because like
Yeah,
he's wanting to go to his bowling night. Did
yeah,
you notice his like the logo on the back of his bowling short? It's kind of like the Ghostbusters logo, isn't it?
yeah.
But
I did
like a
notice that.
pin,
Yeah,
like a bowling pin. That's kind of cool.
the
I wanted to
bowl.
know what they're called, like the team, but I don't
Yeah,
know.
I want to know what they're called. Yeah, it was like the bowling pin was the ghost, and then it had the like circle and the cross through it, didn't it? Yeah,
Yeah.
that was pretty good. All he wants to do is have a little bowl at night. Come on, give him a break. He's a hard-working dad. Um, so yeah, they go to investigate. So the dad and Brad go to investigate. They discover like a cow that's been partially eaten by the Krites. Uh, and then oh yeah, there's a local police officer who gets killed by the Krites. He gets like the thing shot at him, doesn't he? Like the spikes, and he gets
Yeah.
dragged under the police car. And that is when the bounty hunters arrive as well. And one of the bounty hunters, the one without a face, decides, I'm going to be that local police officer. That'll give me some authority in the situation. Um, and then they steal the police car after that. Uh, and
Yeah.
then what do? They come to the farm and they like cut the electrics, don't they?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
love the all the POV shots of the critters approaching the house and stuff like that. They
yeah.
used a lot of that in the trailer to market it, the film, and it's 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 just a really cool thing. Like a lot of the early on establishing shots are just the krites just sneaking up and fast POV.
I do love a POV of a creature or a serial killer or a monster or anything in a film. I feel like it's always good. It adds a certain something to it. I feel like obviously Predator is probably the most iconic, and everything tries to replicate Predator, really, doesn't it? Like whenever you see
Yeah,
like an alien or something, it's usually like got some kind of distorted or color based vision. But yeah, it kind of works. But yeah, when they besiege the farm and they cut the power, Jay goes down to check the circuit breaker and he gets absolutely done in by the critters. And the critters just like chilling there on the shelf, isn't it? Like you see it ages before Jay does.
yeah. Oh, actually, I just remembered one of my funniest moments. You know when they cut the power and they cut the phone line, the
Yeah.
dad picks up the phone and and he pressing the phone like loads and loads of times, and then he just goes, "This phone is dead." But he's like, "How many times do you have to test it?" Like he's pressing the receiver like about 20 times.
This phone's bloody dead, I reckons. Yeah. Well annoying. But yeah, they absolutely do him in, don't they? They like biting him, just like he's like covered in blood, and he's just like, and I guess it kind of like wipes him out for most of the film as well, doesn't it? Because
Yeah, I guess this is what bumps up the age rating because he's covered in blood, isn't he? Like a lot of blood on
yeah,
that,
but
and lots of wounds and stuff like that
is it
on him.
is it worth it? I guess like what they were trying to do was make it like a horror film, so that's the
Yeah,
reason why for all that blood. But almost like, although it did make quite a lot of money at like the box office, so the budget was 3 million and it made 13.2 million. So.
yeah,
That's pretty good. So despite the fact it was like a 15 or whatever it was, then it's made enough. But yeah, like Brad is really protective of his dad as well, and he's like, "Get let me down there. I gotta get to him." And they do manage
yeah.
to like save him and drag him out. And this is when they try and get back in the house, don't they? And at what point does Dee Wallace end up with a shotgun?
I know
It's
she
pretty
at
soon, isn't
one
it?
point in every film she's in, she ends up being going from this sweet like
Yeah,
person to like a badass instantly. That
yeah,
happens in pretty much every film she's in. But yeah, she all of a sudden because the dad has been battered by every which way,
yeah,
she ends up just taking the shotgun off him, I think, and defending the family herself.
yeah,
But there's loads of moments where she's reaching for the shotgun shells like quivering hands and like
yeah.
got to load it up and like
It's
it's
scary. I feel like that because obviously when you play games and stuff, you're like, I'll just reload here. It's fine. But like, imagine you ended up in one of these situations where you did have to do that. I'd be like putting the shotgun shell in the wrong way, I reckon. Is there even a way? Who knows? Who bloody knows? Whoa, what's going on? But yeah, she does like kill. I guess she kills a few of the krites. A few of the krites do get killed. They get one gets squashed. I don't know exactly how many of them there are supposed to be though, is it? It's like anywhere between like 6 and 12, I reckon.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I do love it when they first realize they got weapons. That's a classic moment. Like one of them sort of
yeah.
blasts one of them away, and he goes that they have weapons, and then it gets blasted by a shotgun. One of them just goes subtitles, fuck.
Fuck. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Uh, I bet they love that. They're like, all right, we got one F-bomb we can put in. Where should we do it? Let's get one of the Krites to say it. Hell yeah. Absolutely. Um, so yeah, and then Brad like runs upstairs, doesn't he? Climbs in through his bedroom and then comes back down, opens the door, drags everybody inside. Um, so forgot about April and Steve, her boyfriend Steve, Billy Zane. They're in the barn and it literally rolling in hay, right?
Yeah.
Um, and
Got a bit of Johnny Steele in the background, no doubt.
that bloody song, that song, I'm sick. I'll be sick of it. It'd be like if you heard a song over and over again, no matter where you were, on the radio, on the TV. Sick of it. Is there any
This is
song?
like it's like the alternative of like Brian Adams, Everything I Do.
Oh yeah,
I do
because it
it.
was not because it was number one for like 4 years. No, maybe not as long as that, but it's a long time, wasn't it? And number one this week because I've been watching like Top of the I watch Top of the Pops too sometimes like just if I'm like eating dinner or something I go stick Top of the Pops 2 on. Let's see what the
Yeah.
top 10 was all these years ago. And I got stuck in a loop for ages where it was obviously showing it from the same year. And every time I was like, oh, I wonder what number one's going to be. And I was like, fucking Brian Adams again. For God's sake. That song was more popular than that film, though, right?
Well, I don't know. The film was a massive success as well, though, wasn't it?
Was it? Okay.
That's another film that not everyone loves it, but I absolutely adore Prince of
Yeah.
Thieves. I think it's great.
I do like the film, yeah, but it did always feel like the song was more pop. Maybe just because it was literally around for so long. It was kind of insane. Who was still buying it after after all those weeks? Who was still buying? He was still going. I ain't got a copy of this yet. I better grab hold of it.
Do you ever miss that whole, where there used to be big movie with a big song, and
Yeah,
you don't really get it nowadays? But I love the last time we got that was probably Top Gun Maverick because obviously that's a nostalgia type movie. So you got the Lady Gaga song on that, but
yeah.
like other than that, you don't really get like that
No,
anymore. Like a big blockbuster movie with a
no.
big
Unless
hit song.
unless it's like a musical or something, but still, like, I know what you mean. It is nice when there's a song that goes alongside it. I
Mm,
did enjoy it. Like like something we always mention the Dream Warrior song, uh,
yeah.
and then Alice Cooper when he did the Friday the 13th song as well. I think
Mm,
those were really good. But yeah, horror movies definitely need it. I know what's his name, Patrick Wilson teamed up with Ghost to do a cover of um Stay,
yeah.
Shakespeare's sister, on the last Insidious, and
Mm.
like. I don't know. I feel like they should have made more of it than it was because it was really good. It was a really good version, and it was on like it was on the end credits. But yeah, I would have liked them to really dial into it. Patrick Wilson going, I'm in this film and I'm going to bloody sing the song as well.
That's an absolute banger, that song. Last time I did karaoke, I did that, but I
Did
just sang
you?
both parts low, so I didn't do any of the high stuff.
I'm
Like you know
gonna
the
hope and
yeah, I
pray.
did it all of it like that. Like it sounded quite good.
Oh man, I love that song. Yeah, I remember like I remember seeing the video or like seeing them on Top of the Pops or something. I go, I'm feeling different things here because that's two very different types of lady, and I feel like I like them both. I think that was
Yeah,
when I first started going, Goth Girls, hell yeah,
yeah,
doing the evil side of the song. I feel like more songs should definitely have an evil side to them, though, right? Like a
Mm,
normal song, and then
absolutely.
suddenly here's the evil verse coming in. I'll be all over that.
Do you think
Okay.
maybe they were trying to get a hit out of Power of the Night
Well, I
with
don't
the?
know. It depends
Did
because
they
really,
release it?
I have no idea. Let's see
Yeah,
if we can find it. Power of the Night.
I imagine it'd be on like the soundtrack or whatever.
Because was he actually this like? Because it might have been like a Milli Vanilli situation where he wasn't singing it. Well, it says "Power of the Night" song by Terrence Mann, so I'm assuming that yes. And there is like some artwork, which I don't know if it's official or not, but maybe it was. Maybe it was released. I'll try and find it. Was the thing would be trying to find out if it's on Spotify and and Terrence Mann has got an official account on there, or then it should be all right. Yeah, it was. It's kind of crazy, isn't it? But
That'd be a cool thing to like own on vinyl or something, wouldn't it?
yeah, it would. It really would. Get a laser disc of Critters and a vinyl of that song. You'd be good to go. Okay, so what happens next? So next we've got, so yeah, they're rolling in the hay. The creature attacks. He kills Steve, kills the
Yeah.
kite, and then obviously the creature itself gets killed when devours one of Brad's lit firecrackers.
And at first it looks like, yeah, I'm gonna take this. It's like I'm gonna absorb it, but then
Yeah.
it just kind of keels over, doesn't it?
Kills over, like pop, all the smoke comes out of his mouth, pops out, and then he dies. Um, the remaining Krites they sabotage the cars, which forces it becomes a bit of like a home invasion film for a little bit, doesn't it? When they're trying to like when they shield themselves in the house and the Krites are trying to get in. The bounty hunters are searching the town for the Krauts, the Krauts. I nearly said that.
Sauerkraut.
The bloody Krauts. What were you going to
Do
say
they
there?
they the Krites kidnap April, don't they?
Yeah.
I don't know why. I can't remember why they do,
Why and
but they
how?
do. They take,
Yeah, they kidnap
yeah.
and because they return to the ship with her at some point as well,
Hmm.
don't they? It doesn't make sense. How are they going to do that? How would those little furballs? I don't know if they surround you and just. Why would they take kidnap? Why would they take
They
prisoners?
want to eat everything. Why do all of a sudden they
No,
ventured into kidnapping?
it doesn't make any sense, does it? No, it doesn't. Um. So yeah, the
Because the
bounty.
plot requires it, I guess. Because they got to rescue
Exactly.
April. So
We got to get these characters to their ship somehow. They're going to kidnap. Yeah, weird. It doesn't make sense. So the bounty hunters are searching the town for the Krites. So they go to the church initially, where they just blow things up and they pretty much just cause carnage at the church. That's really unnecessary, bounty hunters. There was no need to do that. And then the second hunter is constantly assuming the identity or the form of various townspeople, including the the priest initially, and then when they go to the bowling alley, he he takes Charlie's face essentially. Again, he loves doing it in front of the person. I think it's like a kink thing, like a fetish thing, turning into it in front of the person, so the person goes, "Oh, oh
yeah,
my God!"
like T-1000, doesn't it, on Terminator
Yeah,
2?
like it's exactly just like that. Um, so what happens at the bowling alley? Because they're looking for the Krites. Are they looking for someone in particular at this moment? I think they're just asking for the where are the bloody Krites?
Yeah, they're just going around like asking people and somehow destroying everything in their path as well. Like,
Yeah, exactly. It's they're not very. There's no red tape with these guys, are there? They're literally just like, I suppose it's not their planet, so they don't care. Um, Brad manages to escape the farm at one point as well, and that's when he runs into the bounty hunters. He gets in the back of the car, doesn't he? But they're in. Also, let's talk about their driving a little bit, because obviously they're driving the driving the police car, and it's Lee of the two of them, Ugg and Lee. He's an absolute
hmm.
madman in this car. He's just at one point he it looks like let's go, and he just does a big reverse like that way. He's constantly smashing the car. Terrible parking. He can't parallel park to save his life. Got no
Yeah,
respect.
this is really like leaning into the comedy side of things because I think obviously if we had these really stealthy bounty hunters that were blending in, it just wouldn't be the same, would it? You need some like big oafs that are gonna
Yeah.
like transform into the most famous person, just cause chaos everywhere, drive around like a maniac.
When it's weird when Brad gets in the back of the car and he goes, "It's you, the most famous man ever, and you, my best friend." Anyway, let's go and let's go and kill these kids proper. Like he has no reaction to it at all. It's so silly.
It's amazing.
I think he does somehow he does learn about their true nature and their intentions before he leads them to the Kreitz location, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and that is when we've already mentioned the Kreitz kidnap April, return to their ship, and then the bounty hunters arrive and they're trying to get away. So yeah, what is the Kreitz? Because I kind of thought in films like this, what usually happens is if a ship crash lands on Earth, there's usually a period of time where they're like, I don't know, fixing their ship or gathering parts to fix their ship so they can leave. But it just seems
Mm.
like I guess they just stop off for a bite to eat, don't they?
Yeah, they're just ravenous,
They
just
treat
really
Earth
hungry, and they can't focus on anything else.
they treat Earth like a little chef is what they treat it like a roadside diner where they're like, let's get off and have something to eat. Rest in peace, Little Chef. Do you remember when Little Chef did a
I'm glad you brought up Little Chef because that's another thing I used to do with my granddad. He used to go to Little Chef and he'd always just go there just for a pancake. I don't go for a meal. I'd just go and get a pancake there.
was there one near was it nearby? Was it like a long way to go to
Yeah, there
get
was
there?
one like just sort of off like a an island on the dual carriageway nearby. So like
Yeah.
it was you could literally drive there in like 5 minutes,
That's a
5 or
dream.
10 minutes.
Little Chef for me was always like a treat. It was always like at the end of like a trip or something or a holiday, something like that. Just
Yeah.
because there definitely wasn't one nearby, so it was like real far. I don't know what happened. I remember Heston Blumenthal tried to revamp Little Chef. Do you remember that?
Hmm. I don't remember that. No.
It's insane. It was like a documentary. It was like a Channel
Yeah.
4 documentary series. I'm gonna have to find out what it's called. I want to say it's like Big Chef versus Little Chef or something like that. Something silly like that. And he basically came in and went, "We're gonna. There's like a trial location. We're gonna make like a whole new menu." And the menu was the menu was mad. And then it got to a point where a Little Chef like said, we're not doing we're not doing this food anymore, and we're not connected to Heston Blumenthal anymore." And then they went bust or whenever it happened.
I
But
feel
yeah.
like if you were gonna do it, you'd have to just make it nostalgic, like make it like
Yeah.
little how people remember Little Chef, like Jubilee pancakes.
Yeah. All right. To be fair, Ken, what kind of food was it there? Was it just like any old stuff?
It was
Breakfast?
just like it was a bit like pub food, really.
Because Heston Blumenthal, he made Scottish mussels in a white wine sauce, braised ox cheeks, an
Of
Olympic breakfast. You remember
course you
that?
did.
Of course he did. He just made it. He just made it all ridiculous. To be fair, not pretty cheap. It doesn't look like it's ridiculously expensive. But yeah, obviously the British public didn't go for it, unfortunately, which is
Do you remember
unfortunate.
Wimpy?
What was that?
Do you remember Wimpy, the
Oh hell
restaurant
yeah, I remember
Wimpy?
Wimpy. Hell yeah, Wimpy.
I just remember one of the desserts I had there that I've never been able to have again. I've never found a dessert like it. It was like a donut, like a ring kind of donut, and then ice cream like piled high into like a sort of point on top of the donut, like a sundae on top of a donut, like kind of thing. It was like, this is amazing.
Is the point like a key element of it? Like it needs to have the. To be
Yeah,
fair
it
though,
looked like a massive tower, like a skyscraper that went to a point.
that sounds
It's like the
good though.
Chrysler building on top of a donut.
The thing is, that sounds really good. And you know when something sounds good and like probably was good, I always go, "Where's it gone then?" We're going back to Doritos 3D again, 3D Doritos. If something's so good, how does it just vanish off the face of the earth? I'm disgusted by the way this happens. But yeah, Wimpy was
This
good
is
because
quickly turning into the nostalgia podcast. Because that's
Wimpy
what
was.
happens when you have me on.
I'm absolutely fine with that. You know, we love the nostalgia, and me and Andy are also of a certain age as well, so it's fine. Um, yeah, on in where I used to go, so in Bristol, there was like, on the same street there was like a Wimpy, an Odeon,
Yeah.
and I think it might be a KFC now. It used to be Wimpy. Odeon's still there though. So it was like the best. It was like go for a Wimpy and then the cinema, or go to the cinema and then a Wimpy. It was a dream. When did
Oh,
it? Did it?
excellent.
You had cutlery at Wimpy as well, didn't you? It was like a.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was like a
It's just a
proper
bit of a
restaurant.
step up from like McDonald's or something.
Yeah. I wonder why it didn't last. We'll never know. Well, I mean, we could just Google it, but we'll never know. Um, so yeah, so the Krites kidnap April, return to the ship. The bounty hunters arrive. Um, Charlie and Brad manage to rescue April. How do they do it? I remember they've got. I remember before they leave, Brad throws like the massive firecracker in there. And when you think about it, that big firecracker wouldn't have enough firepower to destroy an alien spaceship, would it? It would just explode in that
No.
hallway, and that's fine. But um, but yeah,
I
when the
mean, when they're against like the Krites, when they're trying to get out of a situation, pretty much every answer is going to be fireworks. Like
yeah,
that's how they what they use to get out of everything. Like
that was like
the main go-to weapon.
if you've got a kid in like an 80s movie, like they just love stuff like that. You're crazy. But actually, I don't think it's just a firecracker, is it? Because I think Charlie throws a Molotov cocktail, which is supposed to like
Oh yeah, yeah, that's it, right?
detonate the firecracker and kill the Krites. Because the Krites, if you remember, they just destroy their house out of spite, don't they? Out of pure spite. They're like,
Yeah.
right, that's it. We tried to eat you, and we didn't manage to do it. So on our way past, we're just gonna obliterate your house. Why not? It's just out of order. And that really up to that point, I was like, I know the Krites are murderous, but I've got enough respect for them. But as when they did that, I just went, that's out of order, lads. That's out of order. I'm not having it.
Oh
But
yeah,
it
so
does.
probably should say as well that because I was telling you actually before we recorded, like about I watched this on VHS, but the sort of like the second half of the film is all sort of like hazy to me because I could watch bits and hear the audio and have a black screen, or
Oh,
like just it now and again it'd cut back into picture. So
yeah.
that's what happens when you've had a VHS for for a long time.
Is it like
And
the
it was
VHS that
perfect up to that point, but
is it the VHS that you've owned for all those years as well? It's not one
no,
that you
no,
purchased.
it's one that I bought like I've had it for a few years, but no, I must have bought it probably about 10 years ago, something like that.
Yeah.
Not that long ago.
To be fair, I've got a pretty good collection of VHS now, but I haven't got a VCR yet, so I need to get a video player, and then I
Yeah,
think I will start watching more of the ones I've got on VHS just for the nostalgic value, you know. But
yeah.
how often would you feel like you watch films on VHS? Do you just like special occasions?
Sometimes I only have the film on VHS. So like for the Critters is an
Oh yeah,
example
yeah,
where I
yeah.
watched it on VHS because I only own it on VHS. There are some films where I prefer to watch it in that way just because it feels more like it suits the film like that because of that
Yeah.
time when I watched it, it was on VHS. But I've got my setup in the living room where I've got it connected to a CRT television, like an old bedroom style, like, and for a lot of the videos, I like have that set up so I can shoot
Yeah.
that screen and it looks all nostalgic. But I've also got it connected to the main TV,
Oh,
so I can
nice.
watch VHS on the main TV.
Oh, wow, yeah.
And VHS looks not pretty good on a 4K TV, you know. It's like
Yeah.
I think it's because it can handle a lot. 4K TVs can handle a lot of like colors and stuff and a lot of like formats. So if you can connect it to a 4K TV properly,
Mm.
like it's still got analog inputs or whatever,
Yeah.
it looks all right. I know some people say no, you got to watch VHS on an old TV or it
Yeah,
doesn't look
yeah.
right.
On a
You get
CRT.
like the proper VHS nerds that say you can't watch it on a modern TV, but I sometimes do, and it looks fine. So
Yeah. Yeah. Um, and sometimes with a film like this, a 4K Blu-ray or like a Blu-ray or a 4K like is upgrade. It's probably is great, but you're not really like losing when you watch it on VHS. You're not losing tons and tons of detail. Like you're still
no,
enjoying the film. How many people have enjoyed the film? So
yeah,
if you're watching a VHS of like Avatar or something, you might be a bit more like, oh, well, it's not quite the same.
yeah.
But with a film like an 80s, especially an 80s movie as well, I think is yeah, it's pretty good. Okay, so then we're pretty much at the end, aren't we? So the bounty hunters, they give Brad a handheld device to contact them in case of a future invasion. It's a Nokia 3210, and then their technology to restore the brown farmhouse. Just a reverse, like that little reverse technology. How do they do it? Have they got like something they aim at it?
Yeah, I think so. I can't
Right,
remember.
lads. If you're out in the galaxy and any buildings get destroyed, that I don't know, have got like evidence in them or something, we've invented this thing that just reverses time for a few minutes on this particular area. Be careful how you use it, though. That's right.
I think for that technology to like work properly, surely you'd have to take a reference image of what it looked like originally, so it can then recreate that. But
That's
no,
true.
otherwise, how is it going to know? How's it going to? It's just, I suppose it is literally just a time travel type thing, isn't it?
So, Ed, we don't need to know. It's alien technology. That's all we need. That's how the script writers write themselves out of that corner. Um, so yeah, they restore the house, and that's when Charlie leaves with Ugg and Lee to become an intergalactic bounty hunter. But at this point, Lee looks like Charlie, though, right? Because wait, there's a really confusing bit where they think Charlie dies, right?
Yeah,
Is that does that
think,
happen? They think
think so.
Charlie's
Yeah.
dead, and then they turn around and Lee is there looking like Charlie. So I was confused. I was like, oh, he's all right. But then he comes running out a little bit later.
Hmm.
Does that happen, or is that in the second one? I feel like now I've just gone. Is that in the second one? Oh, but yeah. So he basically leaves with Ugg and Lee to become an intergalactic bounty hunter. But then we get the moment which obviously sets up the sequel. The Cry eggs are seen in the barn inside a chicken's nest that seem ready to hatch. And in the second one, I think they get mistaken for Easter eggs. That's actually true. Oh, we got these brand new Easter eggs just in. Lovely brand. They're like those M&S ones, when they're like when they're like got a beautiful design on the outside and inside. They've even got something inside. But yeah, so the second one takes place at Easter. So it's like, how many other films take place like at Easter? Like as in, because obviously done tons of Christmas films. a few Valentine's Day films, but an Easter movie? Weird. I
Yeah.
suppose Passion of the Christ is.
Going on from Easter on your last episode, you were throwing a lot of shade on the Cadbury's cream egg, weren't you?
Oh wait. Oh yeah. I'm not a fan though, Ed. I'll be honest. It's just like a
I
big.
absolutely love the
Oh,
Cadbury's
you love
cream egg.
it. I
Yeah.
do love. I love Oh yeah, because in the Screams by the Sea episode, obviously Tom from Time Travel is Dangerous. Apparently, used to be in the Cadbury's Miniature Heroes advert
Yeah.
in America,
Yeah.
and the cream egg got a lot of hate. I like a caramel egg, but the cream egg, I feel like the sort of fondant stuff. I don't want to consume that in the amount it is. I don't want a big egg full of it. If it's like
I
a
think
little
what
bit,
I remember one time as a kid, I ate one whole.
I bet you did. Wait. Are you talking? Did you swallow it down like an anaconda, or did you just put
I
it straight
just
in your mouth?
I just put the whole thing. I managed to get the whole thing in my mouth and just chomp down on it.
Mate, I feel like that's the way I eat any egg, but egg form of chocolate. Obviously, at that size is a bit more of a challenge. A mini egg, you're fine. Yeah, shade on the older. It's because you think they have got smaller though. They haven't they, the cream egg?
Everything has got
Everything's got
smaller.
smaller,
It's
yeah.
not just that we've got bigger.
That's part of it. Is it just because the world's more aware of like how much sugar and chocolate is affecting people's diets? So they're like, let's just make things slightly smaller, and they'll never know.
Yeah,
Slightly smaller
perhaps.
and 10 times more expensive. This Freddo is a fraction of the size it used to be, and now it's £4.50. Okay, so there we go. That's Critters. Obviously, give the second one a watch. I enjoyed that. The third one I need to finish to find out if that's worth it as well. I can't remember what the fourth one's called. The fourth one is called Critters 4.
Okay.
But usually, right, films, especially films like this, they usually follow a certain naming convention, don't they? When they get to 4, they usually add something else.
Yeah.
But that one's just gone. Nah, Critters 4. Okay, let's play a little bit of name game where I give you the synopsis to a film. Um, and you have to tell me what it is based on the new title. It's going to sound like Critters. It's going to rhyme with Critters. You know how it
Yeah.
works. I hope you know how it works.
Yeah.
Most of these are going to be off the top of my head, Ed, so you have to forgive me. But a group of small but vicious alien creatures called the Krites escape from an alien prison and land on a small farm town on Earth. They're getting ready to eat everybody, but as they're preparing to do it, they just decide actually they're not going to bother. And they just go home.
Okay.
They're
Uh,
getting ready to eat everything, and they go, you know what? This ain't for me. I'm out. See you later. All the best. And they fly home.
I don't know.
The easy ones are usually the most difficult. Quitters.
Oh, okay,
The
right, yeah.
bloody quitters. You bunch of bloody quitters. You little krites. You little bastards. Um, a group of small but vicious alien creatures called krites escape from an alien prison transport vessel, land near a small farm town on Earth, where, instead of eating people, they set up a new service looking after all the children of the townsfolk. Call it a creche. They make a creche slash service to look after all the kids.
I'm crap at this.
Oh no.
Do you remember
Uh,
when I was on the quiz episode? Come on.
I do remember when you're on the quiz episode, yeah. Um, what would you call there's this is what Laurie Strode is in Halloween. What's her like unofficial job title?
Oh, sitters.
Yeah, but I've just said babysitters. But
Babysitters.
sitters also works. I'm going to give
Yeah.
you two clues for this next one, Ed, because the first one might be a little bit of a regional thing. So it was a regional slang for something. So I'll give you two clues. First clue. A group of small but vicious alien creatures called Krites escape from an alien transport vessel and land near a small farm town in the late 90s where they listen to new metal, Limp Bizkit and Corn, wear black and eyeliner and various studded belts. That's the first clue. The second
Okay.
clue for the same word is a group of small but vicious alien creatures called Krites escape from an alien prison and land in a small farm town where they get their hands on a load of coffee and they drink it all, but it gives them the shakes. It gives them the that was a bit of a Jimmy Savile thing then. I just did with my
Jitters.
hands. The jitters, yes. Is that a regional thing? Because jitters in Bristol was a word for like anyone who was a bit alternative.
No, we just had everyone was called Grebs. Like Grebs or goths, but mostly
Grebs.
Greb was a term for anyone that was alternative. Like even if you're a
Yeah.
goth or punk or like
Yeah.
everyone was called Greb.
Yeah.
Like
Jitter,
when I was in school
jitters,
and college and stuff. Yeah.
jitters was like anyone in like baggy jeans who liked Slipknot or
Mm.
Tony Hawk. It was yeah, it was kind of like goth slash punk slash skaters slash anything. You were called a jitter. Oh, you bloody jitter. Or I think a grebo was another one. That was something similar.
Yeah. I feel
Um,
like there was loads of regional terms for those. Like everywhere
yeah,
had something different.
and I'm fascinated
But
by
I don't
all.
know where the whole Greb thing stopped. It's all of a sudden people were like that weren't known as Grebs. I
Well,
think
yeah,
maybe when it went into like the sort of emo kind of era, then
yeah,
it was everyone's an emo then
yeah,
after
because
that.
emos weren't jitters really. And every now
Mm.
and again, I someone pulls out jitter or in some form, and I'm fascinated. I go, wow, I can't believe that's come out. Like, oh, look at them bloody jitters over there. Um, what else we got? Uh, I can kind of think of one more. A group of small but vicious alien creatures called Christ escape from an alien transport vessel, land near a small farm on Earth where they're eating everything, but they don't swallow it. They don't swallow what they eat. They what's the opposite of swallow? If you were to eat something and you didn't swallow it,
I don't know.
you
Bitters.
spitters. I told you I was doing a lot of these just off the cuff, so I apologize for the quality.
It's all right.
Spitters is correct. Well done. You got 4 out of 4 correct. I don't know if you did actually, but
I don't think I got the first one, but
well, I'm giving you 4 out of 4 because I'm generous like that.
okay,
Um,
excellent.
but yeah, there we go. That was Critters. It's an all right film, you know. It is. We will have to rate the film now. So A to F, pluses and minuses are allowed. Reet good or reet bad. Where do you sit on a critter? Be careful when you sit on it because it's all spiky.
Um, I feel like I liked it a lot more when I was younger. It's the kind of thing that really appeals to like a young audience, I think. Just because the critters themselves are a really good design, kid-friendly design. They look like you want a toy of a critter. I don't know whether they brought out many like toys of them. I'm not sure if they did
No,
or
I don't
not,
think
but
I've ever seen anything. No.
basically it would look really good on the shelf, wouldn't it? Like a toy of a critter, and the design of them
Yeah.
is really interesting. Um, I feel like the film is funny and it always seems to make me laugh every time I watch it. So it is good, but I've never thought of like yeah I'll watch all of them. I'll go and watch all the sequels. I watch the series. I know there's quite a big amount of good amount of fandom I think for Critters, and I know a lot of people quite like the
Mm.
series, but I've never been a huge fan of it. So like. It's kind of just above average for me. I'd say like a C plus or something like that, around about that,
Yeah. Yeah.
I would say.
I think you're right. I think it's one of those things. It's never been like my out and out favorite thing. I think I've always thought of it as like a fun little film. This time I felt a little bit disappointed by it, especially in comparison to the second one, where I feel like everybody just gets more to do, and I think it's a more of a well-rounded film. I think because it's more like it takes place in the town more so, whereas this one is like quite isolated to the farm. Um,
Mm,
so and I know a lot of sequels usually go bigger and like that, and they work a little bit better. But yeah, I enjoyed it. But I think a C is probably fair because I don't think
yeah,
it's aged particularly great. But I'm still gonna watch. I'm gonna go watch the third one. I might stop at the third one. I'm not gonna go all the way through Critters 4 and whatever the remake or reboot was. But
web
yeah,
series.
I'm glad to get it done because this has been one we've been discussing on the podcast for a while, and I think a few people have requested it as well.
Mm.
So yeah, I think that's about fair, isn't it? Um, so there we go. That is Critters. Thanks for joining me, Ed. Where can our
No worries.
listeners? Yeah, it's been good. It's been good to catch up. Well, I know
Yeah.
we keep doing it where it's just one of us and you.
I know. I feel like I've got a subscription where I can only, I've only subscribed to you or Andy. I can't have you both at the same time.
I think so. I can't have you both at the same. No, you can't. One of us or what? It's only one of
You
us
know
or
when you
none of
like on
us.
a streaming service, you can't have more than two screens.
Well, maybe we've not done it. Oh yeah, it is exactly like that. Yeah. Well, you want to share? You want to share this with a family member? No. We definitely haven't done it on purpose, and maybe it just shows we're confident enough in you as a full co-host that it's going to be a great episode. There we go. I'll word it like that. If that makes it any better. Where can our listeners keep up to date with you online, Ed? I mean, obviously on TikTok for your letterbox reviews, but anywhere else as well.
Yeah, so you can mostly find me at Harvey underscore retro on social media, like Instagram and as well as TikTok. Although I post mostly on TikTok now. I mean, I do like YouTubers on my YouTube channels, Enigmatic Retro Rewind. Do
Hmm,
that with Johan, and we do a lot of stuff on there. We've started doing podcasting again. So the podcast, the Enigmatic podcast, is on Spotify and all your platforms, and that also goes on the YouTube channel.
lovely
But yeah,
stuff.
yeah, I do a lot of social media stuff now. So most frequently on YouTube, it's YouTube Shorts.
Yeah.
We only do like a longer video once in a while, like once a month or so. Yeah, but yeah,
Hmm.
mostly sort of social media nowadays.
Sweet. I will I'll put the links to everything of that in the show notes. And of course come and join us again sometime soon. And I'll make sure Andy's here as well. I'll force him. Get involved because otherwise Ed's gonna think we've got some sort of vendetta. Um, which we don't. We might. But yeah, thanks everybody for listening. If you enjoyed the show, become a patron at patreon.com/horror hangout. Thanks to all our patrons over there. Thanks to Taj Easton for our theme music. Thanks to Acast for hosting the show. Please consider giving us a rating or review. We're on Threads, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube, all of those places. Or horrorhangout.co.uk for everything in one place. Next week we're covering Judy and Punch with special guest Aviana Snow. So looking forward to that. But yeah, thanks again, Ed. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. I'll see you again soon.
See you again soon, man. Take care. Bye bye now.
Bye.
Bye.